Okay, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Just depends on where you are and when you are watching the broadcast. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. I am the broker owner of Lyonsview Realty, and our team provides residential, commercial for small businesses and nonprofits and property management services. So I'm really glad that you joined us today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lyonsview Realty Financial Fridays is here to help you stay current on those trends that impact your bottom line. Our goal is to provide you with resources, information, and tips to assist you in making the best financial decisions. And our commitment is to maximize your wealth building power now and in the future. So I'm really glad that you tuned in today. Welcome, 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 welcome. Feel free to like and share this video to your friends and your family. If you have any questions, put them down in the chat. If you're watching the replay, put them down in the chat and we'll get back to you later. So we welcome your questions, we welcome your comments, and we definitely welcome your suggestions. So today I have the most phenomenal guest. She love her to pieces. She is a tenacious businesswoman. She is knowledgeable. She is smart. She is important. She is just, if you are really, she's a real estate consultant. If there's anything that you needed to know about real estate, Miss Hawkins is the person that you want to speak to. And I really love that she jumps in. She is fearless and she is a boss lady. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Miss Vonetta Hawkins, real estate consultant and investor. And if you could just start out sharing a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you, Miss Clara. Wait, do you hear echo?
A little bit.
A little bit. I hear one too. Let me
switch
really quick my Bluetooth. Just
I'm gonna there's two of you, so I kicked out the other person. Hopefully that'll remove the feedback. Do you hear it now? Say something. Oh, I don't hear you. No, I can't hear you at all now. Okay. So we're going to get it together here. But if you have tuned into Financial Fridays in the past, we are doing an investment series. So this is number 3 in the investment series. You can go back and watch some of the other videos. We had a one on tax deeds, which is a really cool way to invest in real estate. I can hear you now.
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can
awesome.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fabulous. Yes. I hear a bunch of crazy noises from my earpiece, but it's okay. All right, let me see. On my end. Okay. Oh, perfect. It stopped. Hello. So first of all, let me just say thank you to Miss Clara and her Financial Fridays. She is always out there just giving of herself, giving of information. And it is so great to have somebody like you in our industry to be able to educate the consumer and so that they can get on whatever type of homeownership journey they are on. So I applaud you and all you do in helping our people get to where they're trying to go and having this type of platform in order to do so. So thank you. And I'm excited to be here. You know, when you call me, it's like, Vonetta, you know, what you do is it's like, of course, first of all, anything you ask me, if I can do it, I'm going to say yes. Let's just say that. But aside from that, you know, I was excited because I just love to share. I just love to share anything. If I can help share information and knowledge and help inspire someone to get on their journey, then, you know, sign me up for that program. But, you know, a little bit about myself. I've been in banking and finance for about 30 years, a little over 30 years. I recently launched real estate investment development firm. So I'm super excited on my journey to being a real estate developer. And I'm super passionate. I've been in the industry forever, and just really, really love this space. It's just a great space in order to build wealth, build a legacy for your family. I always, I tell people I didn't come from a rich family, but a rich family gonna come from me. So I am striving to make sure that I leave a legacy for my children, for my grandchildren, and for all of my ancestors to follow. But with that being said, yeah, launched the Home Sweet Home Realty. And it was I remember when I was thinking of the name, and home ownership I'm so passionate about it because it's not just a place to live. It's a place to build. It is a place to grow. It is a place for family, stability, foundation. So when I came up with the name Home Sweet Home, it's like that's what made me smile about it. As a consultant, I do real estate consulting, talking to people about how they can elevate, how they can get into the industry, what are some of the tips, cues, and clues to be able to build and, grow their financial their real estate empire as well. So been on this journey for a minute. I'll say, and let me stop. I don't know if there was the second question or I don't want to jump ahead.
You're doing fine. And I love the name Home Sweet Home. It just brings warmth and it reflects who you are. You're warm, you're inviting, you're exciting. And, that's what we want. We want people to be excited when they get in this process of investing in real estate. So I think the name is just awesome.
Miss Clara, it's so funny that you say that because when I made the name, I was like, people that know me will appreciate that name coming from me. So to hear you just say it, it just kind of like solidified when I made it. I was like, people that know me, they're gonna know that's personal to me, and they're gonna see that reflects my personality in this space. But yeah, I say just from my investment journey, I started investing in real estate in 2003, and I remember. I bought my first house. It was a primary residence. It was so funny. I remember looking for the house and I never wanted a Cape Cod. I hated Cape Cods. I did not want a Cape Cod. I wanted a bi-level. And you know what I got? A Cape Cod.
And that is so true to investors. They think, I want this, and this. And then you show them everything but that. And then they see that house and they go, oh, I kind of like this. So yeah, sometimes you know it when you see it.
Yeah. And Miss Clara, listen, you have been on the real estate journey with me many times. And I tell you what I want and then wind up getting exactly the opposite. I'm trying to get my life together, have you focusing on what I really want and be it all over the place. But yeah, so I got that first house in 2003. And I remember the process from a mortgage perspective, from a realtor perspective. Everybody that was involved with my transaction made it a really, really smooth transaction. And aside from, getting the property, I still didn't want the Cape. I got it. It was what was available. The market was bananas. But my realtor was great. My loan officer was great. My attorney was great. The entire process was so easy for me. And I remember thinking, oh, this is easy breezy. I must continue on this situation. And literally a year to that date, I purchased my next property. And that was my dream home. That was my actual home that had the bi-level, had the colonial look that I wanted. But I was like, since the first one was so easy to purchase, I'm not going to get rid of it. This second one was easier to purchase. I'm going to keep it and I'm going to rent it out. So 2004, I became an official landlord. And that was easy. I had a Section 8 tenant. And I got my rent. It was like, as a landlord, you just want to get paid. And Section 8 is a great avenue to guarantee payment. And my tenant was awesome. She took care of the property. But that's where I really began my being a real estate investor journey, way back then.
That's really, really interesting because you said two things that are really important. One, look at your when you purchase a property, look at it as an investment. I think a lot of times people are looking at it, this is my home. I think I'm going to be here forever. Sometimes, it's I'm only going to be here a minute and it's 10 years, or, you do 5 years or 3 years and you move on to the next property. Like the first property is not the end all property. Because as we grow, our likes and desires change. We want something different. We know more of what we want, but look at it as an investment. I think that's key, key, key. Then the second thing is treat it as an investment, right? So, a lot of people, when they move on to the next property, they get, sell that property and go on. But there's income that's sitting there over the long haul, and you took advantage of that. I think that's really awesome to treat it as an investment and a stepping stone. It's always a stepping stone. I talked
Exactly.
about the ladder,
And that was the thing, Miss Clara. It was just like, because the process was easy and I was able to get into that second property, to me, it was a no-brainer. I talked to the mortgage professional. I said, if I rent this out, am I good to still qualify for my next property?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yes. So the market, the property where I purchased that first house at, it was a blue collar market. It was a single family home and it was easily rentable. So, as you just said, to, always think of things, not just as, think of things also as how they can be an investment as well. So making sure that the market, that the area in which I was in was an easy area where you can find a family that wants to rent out a property. And I think one of the other things I did is when I left that house to go to the other one, I did nothing. Like, I didn't renovate. I didn't do anything. I moved right out and moved the tenant right in. So not even not even trying to revamp it, do some extras. Nope. I was living there just fine. So I figured somebody else could too and pay me money to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's where I say I began the journey, and then it was like literally nonstop. I bought that second house, and then the same year I bought a third, and the next year I bought a fourth and a fifth, and the next year I bought a sixth. And I will tell you the one thing that kept me moving, aside from the process was still the mortgage industry was doing a lot at that time. This was like between 2004, 2008, and as we know, the market went kaput. Right. But along that time frame, I connected to some powerful women in the real estate industry, and I kept them close. And I every time I interacted with them, I seek to learn and I seek to grow, and I seek to surround myself with people that, if not were on a similar journey, had already passed my journey and was continuing to excel. And that was, Miss Clara, that was really, really key to a lot of the additional steps I made in real estate, because I had those women that was like my crew. And I had just came across them, found out they were in the real estate industry. And even I remember we all bought a property in Trenton. One of them found a new development in Trenton. All of us went down there. All of us bought two, another one, and the rest of us we all bought one. We kind of bought the block. Literally, we bought the block in that development. Yeah, it was all new brownstones that were built in the historic district in Trenton. And all of us purchased some units in that development. But I say all that to say, make sure you're intentional around who you surround yourself with, as you're on your real estate journey. So being around influential people in the space is
Mhm.
critical, because
Indeed.
they can add that knowledge to to maybe your weak points and help you to be able to grow. And Miss Clara, as you know, there is literally always something to learn in real estate.
Every day, every hour. And one of the things I appreciate about you is that you will, you are an inquirer. You know, you'll be like,
I
let's
like
go
that.
here and find out this. Let's ask them this or this. Or I that is so important as well. I really appreciate that about you. You're not afraid to inquire about what's needed or what's next or how can you do it this way or differently, which
And that's key, asking questions. Like, if you don't, like you said, Miss Clara, I'm an inquirer. And yeah, I tell people, it's so funny that you say that too. Because in school, I always tell people I was that kid that was like, I don't understand. Like, can you go over question number 6 again? That was me. I'm not ashamed of it. And I take that into my adult life. And especially in the real estate space, I take that into the adult real estate life as well.
yeah. So we were talking about how you got started in the investment things, and there are different types of investment. So one is you buy and you hold, you keep it, rent it out, and then the other is you buy it and you flip it. So talk about for our novice people, what is a flip? Like what that
What does that
means.
mean?
Yeah.
Good. Great question. So a flip is when you purchase a property, hopefully at a very discounted rate than what the market is calling for. And then you do some type of a rehab to that property, and then you sell it at a premium. Or actually just to really what the market is calling for. Some people are even able to buy something super, super low and don't do nothing to it and just sell it to somebody else that want to do the repair. So, flipping is really buying something at a really discounted price and then selling it at a premium. Um, and in this market, the market is what it is. It's extremely, it is a seller's market. There is limited supply. But the one great thing about that is, from a flip perspective, it is massive opportunity, because there is so many houses that everybody's trying to, at this point, everybody's trying to get that nice one. They're trying to get that house that's all done up, ready to rock and roll. They can move in. They can put their dishes up in the cabinet and hang their pictures on the wall.
Right.
However, I'm that one that looking at that house that's falling to pieces, that's falling to pieces, that I'm driving by looking at it real suspicious, and it's gonna need to get some work. So from that perspective, I'm out in the market and I'm able to find those diamonds in the rough. And it's a lot of me out there looking for these same things. I mean, Miss Clara been on a long journey with me, and it was like a year of looking and trying and not getting. And the journey can be what it is. But I will say, for number one, never get off the journey, stay on the journey. But that flipping process is really about finding something and that you can get at a really good price, and then sell it at a premium.
That's a really, really great point, because that the pricing as a flipper is not the same as the pricing for something that you're going to live in. You gotta, Miss Vanetta says all the time, oh, the numbers work, the numbers don't work.
Right. That's it. Like,
That's
that's
it.
it. Like, tell me the numbers. Negative. Or yes. And
Yeah.
Miss Clara, you're so key when you just said, like, buying it, as somebody that's going to live in it, or buying it as a flipper is different. And I even say, like, I will still even approach a property that might be at market price,
Hmm.
and I will still, like, go in and say, give it to me for less.
Hmm.
Closed mouths don't get fed. So I have no problem asking the question. All they can say is, no, Miss Hawkins, get out of here.
Or they could say yes.
Or they can say yes. And then it's mine. So, so while you're out there considering, flipping properties, it doesn't have to always be that one that's a complete total gut job and a hot mess.
Hmm.
It could be something where you're on your beginner journey as a flipper, where maybe you get something that could be slightly below market. You got to do a little bit of minor work, maybe update a kitchen, do some flooring or something like that. And then, sell it. Maybe you won't make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe you make, 25,000, but that'll help you get, your feet wet and get you on your journey then, quicker than maybe jumping into something that's going to have you really, really rolling up your sleeves.
Yeah, that's a really, really valid point. So, if looking back, you're now jumped in both feet into these investment waters, and Miss Hawkins is swimming. She's not dog paddling. She is swimming. If you look back, what would you say were your top three do's and don'ts, for that you would tell folks, hey, do this, don't do this.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the don'ts so I can end with the do's. Okay. So the first don't is don't get into this industry without having your finances in order. Don't do it. Because I will tell you, the gray hair and the wrinkles from the stress that you will have ain't worth it. Ain't worth it. So do not get into this business unless you have your finances in check. So however much money you think you might need, add some onto that so that your picture is right. And when things go left, because they will, be clear, they will, you are financially, what's your name is, Clara?
Something always pops up that you're not expecting. Yeah.
You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. And not only does something always pop up, it pops up today, pops up 2 days later, pops up next week. It will pop up throughout your entire transaction, things that you had no idea would have popped up. Yes. So if your finances are not in order, don't do it. Wait. Or if you were planning on getting into a picture where you would need, let's say, $50,000, and you're like, financially, I'm good. 50,000, whatever, I could get pop-ups and everything, and I got 50,000. Then maybe that's not what. If you like, that's gonna put you at the tippity top of your budget. Then maybe get into something that you only need 25,000 for. So this way you have a huge cushion. So when the pop-ups continue to roll in and roll in and roll in and roll in, you're ready. Right. So, it's always an opportunity to get in. You may just need to change your strategy on what getting in looks like. Right. Getting in might not mean I'm going to get in and make 100,000 off my first deal. Maybe getting in means I'm going to get in and I'm going to make 25,000 off my first deal, or 5,000 off my first deal. So, don't go there unless your finances is right and you fully understand that picture. The second thing is the permits. Jesus Christ. The permit process is a process. So do not walk into this picture without fully understanding the permit process. You want to make sure that you've connected with the township, that you've connected with your contractor, everybody that's going to be involved with that permit process. You want to make sure that you fully understand the scope of what that entails, and even from the cost of it. Let me check. Take off my earpiece. Can you hear me, Miss Clara?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. That's right. Okay. So the permit process, don't walk in unless you fully understand it. And again, how, Ms. Clara was like, I'm an inquirer. So make sure that you're asking questions. You're going to the township. You're getting engaged with the people at the township because they hold the key. They hold the key to your process of moving your rehab along from point A to finish. So don't walk in blinded thinking, somebody else is going to handle this. You need to understand what it is. and you need to be able to step in and handle it yourself, or understand who's handling and what that looks like. And then also from a timing perspective, time is money, and permits can take a long time sometimes. Some townships, it's months. Some townships, it's 20 days. You know, some townships, it's like, it's 5 seconds. But understanding the time frame of a permit impacts your dollar. Like if you can't get your permits in, you can't get your work done or even started for that. And that means money. Like every day your permit's not done, your house isn't ready from the township perspective. That is money out the window, and nobody got time for that. That's that thing Miss Clara said. Those pop-ups. So you know, I would say those were my two biggest don'ts that I would talk. From a do's perspective, I would say make sure the thing to do is interview your contractors. You know, once you get into this journey, you don't know anybody. You don't know who does what, who, you know, you're going on Anti-List or Zoo or you know, you go on to different websites trying to find contractors. Interview your contractors and line them up. Like, look for, you know, do you have any references? Can I see your work? You know, one thing I say about seeing their work, which is really important, that I don't think people really understand the full clarity of it. So when I say see their work, right, look at their pictures of stuff they have done. Don't just look for the quality of the pictures, but aesthetically, does it look good? Because if you know, if I know I want to get a new kitchen or I want to get a new bathroom, I'm just like, I don't want to get a new bathroom. I know what I like. But if your contractor shows you pictures of a bunch of aesthetics that you don't like, they don't have the same eye that you have. And when you may need help, okay, how do I put this tile? Do I put it this way? Do I put it this way? You know, how do I organize this? Aesthetically, they ain't gonna have good answers because their eye isn't like your eye. They don't see things like you see things. So that you know, I've looked at when I was interviewing different contractors, I was looking at a lot of their pictures, and the ones who aesthetically it was a hot mess, I was just like not gonna use them. I can't. I had one guy, I remember, he was a painter, and he was like, Vonetta, I'll come and paint the whole house, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, well, let me see your work. So he showed me this house. Why he chose this one, I have no idea. He shows me this house.
Wow.
The guy's house, all white. And then he did like a 3-inch line of like an orangey red, like maybe 3 feet off the floor on the wall across this man's entire house, like from the stairs and then across every single wall. It was this 3-inch orange and red line of paint. And he was like, yeah, he was like, his walls needed some flavor to it. And I told him that would look really nice. And I was like, why would you do that? Why would anybody do that?
No.
Miss Clara was tragic. And not only was it tragic, the color was horrific.
Yeah.
And aesthetically, I need a painter that can pick out good colors. I'm not I know my weakness. My weakness is color paint and carpet. I can't be that. My bomb emoji, my head explodes. I can't figure it out. So when he was like, I said the fact that from a color perspective, his color schemes was no good. Was no good. So I was like, I can't hire him because I would need help, and he clearly can't help me because he think an orange and red line across somebody's entire house is cute.
Yeah, that's crazy. And how many contractors would you say you would like need to?
Right, you want to at least do 3. Whenever you think of anything, at the minimum, you want to have 3 solid opinions of people and the work that they do. And one thing I will tell you is, they will come in and they'll talk to you about what they offer. And as you're interviewing, always take notes, because some of them will say some things that somebody else might not say, but it might be something that's very pertinent to your situation.
Right.
So, and that was one thing I learned, that like, I remember I had a contractor come in, and I had two contractors come in, and one was like, oh, I can do this, this, this. And then when the other came in, he was giving me very specific things that I would need to get done that the other contractor did not say. And those specific things cost money.
Yeah.
They cost money. So it was like, I appreciated that he said those things to me, because it made me think like, he knows more about this process like a contractor. I said, because what he's telling me is not just some, miscellaneous stuff. It's stuff that costs real money.
Right.
So my other contractor was like, by the time he would have probably figured it out, he would have been like, it would have been a surprise of money I had to pay, because he didn't tell me up front. This one knew it up front. And that, that's key to understanding how much money is coming out your pocket. So having that contractor that's knowledgeable, is very key. So Ms. Clara, great question around how many. You definitely want to have a minimum of 3. And don't be ashamed to tell them, like, you ain't chosen yet. Like, just because you here, this is a consultation.
Yeah. One of the things too people have been saying is getting the contractors to put their bids in writing.
Oh, yes. Oh, but listen, first of all,
it's like, I can do this and it'll cost about this. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Literally, what are you doing? Because I'm gonna tell you one thing, and Ms. Clara, when you say about that, have them put it in writing, that's when you will find out that you're not always comparing apples to apples. Because a lot of times, a lot of times contractors come in and they be like, I can do blah 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 blah, and you thinking so you as the owner, you're telling all of the contractors the same thing. You're saying, I need a kitchen, a bathroom, I need floors.
Oh, you froze up. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me, but you're freezing up a little bit. So we've got hopefully she'll come back in a minute here. Miss Vonetta Hawkins, who is a real estate consultant and investor, who's giving us the tea on the do's and don'ts when you are flipping a property. So number 1 on the list is have your finances in order, have enough cush between, what you think it's going to cost and, for those unexpected items that might come up in the process. The other don't is about permits. If you're going to do something that requires permits, get to know the people in the township. Yeah, she's out. She's going to have to come back. Get to know the people in the, yeah. For a minute, so I was recapping your points.
Okay.
Your don't.
Thank you. You a chameleon and making things happen. So a lot of times, when you get in with those contractors and they're telling you what they can do, you think you're comparing apples to apples, because you, as the consumer, has said the exact same thing with every contractor. I want a kitchen, I want a bathroom, I want flooring, I want windows, right? You, as the consumer, has said the exact same thing every time. But the contractor, they all heard different stuff. They all heard, she want a kitchen, but I'm only going to give her this part of it. Or she want a bathroom and I'm only doing this. And she got to buy material. So until they put it in writing, Miss Clara, it ain't apples to apples. So everybody gonna give you that ballpark. I could do it for 30,000. I could do it for blah blah blah. Whatever they want to tell you, they can do it for. But until it's in writing, you are not comparing apples to apples. So make sure everything that you do is in writing so that you can compare apples to apples. And one thing I even say about that is, what you oftentimes finds out is that you weren't comparing apples to apples. You were playing apples, bananas, oranges, and it was 2 grapes in there.
Yeah, like separating out those materials from labor.
Right, Miss Clara, that's one of the tips that you told me. I'll never forget. I was I had went with a contractor. I was talking to a contractor one time, and I told you the price that he might charge me, and you were like, "Does that include materials?" And then you were like, "What kind of materials? All the materials? Which materials?" And I was like, "She ain't never lied. She's right. What is this? What am I paying for, sir? What am I paying for?"
Yes, yes.
Um,
Even in getting your hair done, I got a new do, right?
right,
So
right.
he gave me the price, and I was like, okay. I'm thinking that's the total price, and I just need to show up and pay you, and everything that you need to do, you will have, and so yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What's in
Like,
that number?
you got there, she was like, yeah, and the blow dryer costs $42 more. You was like, blow drying ain't included. She was like, no, nor is conditioning.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
how
yeah. So
I
that's
have
the
to
contract.
out. Yeah.
That is the contractors. That material. I'll tell you, the material component is the biggest component.
Right.
Where you will find the differences in price. So, like, I had one contractor gave me a price with material. Actually, when they gave me the prices, they just said a price.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got in writing, one had materials and one didn't have materials. And I'm gonna tell you, it was like a $20,000 situation on what came out their mouth. And it was like when I got the one that included the materials, it was like $55,000. And the other one was like, yeah, I do with 35. Well, that didn't include not one material at all. and be clear.
I'm paying you an annual salary, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
For
Thank
3 weeks
you.
worth of work, possibly. No.
Thank you. Thank you. And I would even say, be clear on those materials. Yeah. Like, it's one thing to say, I'm going to buy the materials. I'll buy my aesthetics. I'll buy the finished product, which is, your sink, your vanities, your lights, your fixtures. You will buy all of those. But sometimes it's a difference of, if you say, I want you to do my floors, sometimes the contractors are thinking, and you say they get the material, then they might be like, okay, well, I'll buy the grout or the concrete, and you got to buy the backer boards. Like, it's different. It's just a lot of different components of material. So you would even think material is it's a clear ask. And even that's not a clear ask. Like, I told one of my contractors that I wanted them to do materials. And I will tell you, I've spent $10,000-$12,000 in materials. I don't know what the materials. How did those materials not be a part of his original materials? For the life of me, I don't know. But what I do know is what I learned is that now I need to be even more specific with materials. Like, and so my tip, this will be my tip, because I'm not a contractor. I'm a real estate consultant. I'm a banker. Like, I'm in mortgage finance. Like, ask me any of those questions, I got the answer. Mm-hmm. How to redo a ceiling? Nah, I don't know that. So I say all that to say, when you're asking people about the material cost, ask them specific. If you're saying, I want to get flooring done, be specific and say, what materials are needed for flooring? Let's mark them down, and now let's determine who will pay for them. I'm even talking about down to the nails. Because I'm asked to buy like a screw or a cap for a pipe, and I'm like, I'm at Home Depot, like, I'm taking pictures, like, you got this picture of this product, and they're like, why your contractor not here? And I'm like, good question. But
that's another valid point, separating out the things that the contractor really should do versus you do, because they have that level of expertise.
Exactly.
And, they can go in and out, and your time is valuable as well.
Exactly. I don't know about time. So, and then two other things, and I'll speed along, Miss Clara, because I do want to make the point. The other thing is having having a tight scope of work. If you're going to be doing rehab on a property, fully understand the scope of work, meaning how much is it going to cost for you to do that rehab, and being very intentional around what you write down on your scope of work. Because if you have gotten financing for that property from a hard money lender or from a lender, they're going to pay you back based off of that scope of work. So making sure that your scope of work is clear. I mean, you could even write on your scope of work materials, and they will pay you back for materials because it was listed on your scope of work. But if you don't list it on your scope of work, nobody's paying you for it. So you can go buy all your materials and not get any money back because you never listed it on your scope of work as a purchase to be paid back for. So having that tight scope of work is very, very critical. And my last due, and this is to pay homage to my fabulous realtor. My last due is have you a realtor that is specific to that market and is super knowledgeable and does this meaning works with investors.
Yeah.
Has that skill set. Because I'm going to tell y'all, and Miss Clara and I, we go way back, and she is my person, right? And she is my person, not because I just love her, but because I do, but she's my person because if I'm like this with being that inquirer, like she has the answers. And if she doesn't have the answers, she knows who to guide me to get the answers. And her knowledge and experience, I can't buy that. So, when I say, Miss Clara, I want to buy a property, I give her exactly what I want. And now she's on the hunt. And she's always looking for me. So she's always looking. She's on the hunt. And then even, going through the journey of finding something and having her, having your realtor be with you during that entire journey of that transaction. So coming in and giving you tips and ideas on how to rehab, how to renovate, what looks good from a buyer perspective. That's her expertise. Like that's your realtor's expertise to say, you want to upgrade this property and add blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe add ABC, but don't do D because the buyer's not going to care because it's not going to add any value to your property because you're going to really just waste money. Miss Clara, I'm going to tell y'all, Miss Clara gave me some advice and I didn't listen. And let me tell y'all, I wish I listened. Miss Clara told me on a property, I told her I was going to get siding. And she was like, do you need it? She's like, you should get windows. And I was like, no, Miss Clara, I'm not getting them windows. I'm not spending that money. But siding is thebomb.com, and I'm going to get the siding. First thing I do on my rehab, I get the siding. Spend $9 million. Now you know what I need? Some windows. Because a brand new house that's going to be gorgeous from the inside out looks like a tragedy without windows. I could have painted the house and not spent a penny, but only on paint, rather than putting siding. And even from a resale perspective, that was something that was important to her. She was like, people care about windows. Nobody's caring if it got new siding or not new siding. Like it's not adding from a buyer's eye. Windows is what they're going to look at. And my mistake, I went in and did siding first. So when I say that a critical due is having that realtor as part of your journey and part of your team. And that realtor that works with investors, works with buyers, understands your market and can help walk you through the journey and give you that advice when nobody else can, or when nobody else wants to, or nobody else cares.
Yeah, we'll tell you the truth. Yeah, we'll tell you the truth because that's important. It's not just about the sale. Sometimes it's about, helping people to get to the goal that they're trying to get to.
Yep. And you do a great job. And next time when you say get windows, I'm gonna get the windows. Miss Clara, I am getting windows. They on back order since '85, but I am, so it's like, she told me this day one, people, day one. She's like, get the windows. So now, day 75, I cannot put this house on the market without them windows. So I'm getting windows. She told me to do something else. I'm being hard-headed. I'm not listening to it. I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm being hard-headed. But I'm gonna make the other thing she told me to do work. But yeah, having that realtor component, when people be like, I don't need a realtor for certain things. No, yes you do. Yes you do. Yes you do. Like this is the thing that you need a realtor for. And you need a good one. So you need a good one. You need somebody that does this. And I'm going to say this, guys. It is different that a realtor that works with buyers agents, that works with buyers all the time. They're great. They serve a purpose. Mm-hmm. But when you are trying to be a real estate investor, it is critical that you have a realtor that is number one, that works with investors, number one, and is a listing agent, number two. Because if Miss Clara can't find a house on the market for me, guess what? She's probably selling one for somebody. Mm-hmm. She's probably listing a house that I could potentially buy. Mm-hmm. So a listing agent and a realtor that works with investors are your two questions that you want to ask that person that you want to, work with Miss Clara. That's who you should work with. But if you in some like another state or something, work with her still, because I call her for other states. I do call her. I'm like, Miss Clara, look for something in Florida, California, whatever. Like she's just my go-to person. So she just, I'm fortunate enough to have her and her knowledge don't just cover New Jersey. It spans across this country. And that is another thing that's key. I am on my journey as a real estate developer. I will not just be developing properties in New Jersey. I will be developing properties across this country. Mm-hmm. So having Miss Clara as my back pocket, my right-hand person, is going to help me along my journey as I travel through this country and develop.
Oh, thank you. Wow. This has really, really been phenomenal. And I think for the people out there who, are thinking about getting into investing, getting into flipping properties, people think, oh, it's so easy. There's a lot to consider. There are a lot of moving parts. I love the way that you are tenacious, hands-on, and fearless, that you jump in. And if you don't know it, you get the information that you need, you figure it out, and you keep moving forward, because it is definitely a process. And there are a lot of hidden components that, as you say, pop up. So, to surrounding yourself by a team, great dew point. And I think that's really, really important as well. Great information. So you are a consultant. You provide a lot of valuable information to people as well. So share about, I don't know if your class is in process now or another one is coming up, but share about what you got going on.
Gotcha. So, so I co-created a real estate investment series that really speaks to people on how they can get into the real estate game and begin building legacy wealth through real estate. It's an 8-part series, and I do it through the New York Black MBA Association, based out of New York. It's all virtual. We did start our 2022 cohort, and I want to say we're in our we're in our 4th session, actually this Saturday. But the great thing is, people can sign up and join next year. But one thing for me as a consultant is I don't just do it with the real estate series. That's also part of just my day to day. So, if people want to connect with me and kind of learn about, getting into real estate, then they can definitely, my email, if you see my name on the screen, my email address is VH, so my initials, and then my name, Vonetta Hawkins @.com. So VH @VonettaHawkins.com. So feel free to connect with me in that way. And definitely I can, help you get on your journey, to invest in real estate. And then I'm a forever learner. Like I am, as Miss Clara and I alluded earlier, there is literally something new to learn in real estate every day. Like I ain't even making that up. Like it's literally like I've been in the banking and finance world 31 years. I moisturize. 31 years. And literally there is still something new to learn every day. So stay a forever learner. I just say that in life in general. Be a forever learner. And perfect your craft. Like, I have a full-time job that I do as well. And I'll be 50 in November 2024.
Good.
Yes. Thank you, girl. Thank you. You know how we do. So I plan to retire in November 2024. But God willing, it's going to happen sooner. And I say that because, I just try to be intentional by learning my craft in real estate so that I can get on my journey faster to doing it 100%. People, there's a lot of money to be made. And if you can perfect your craft in this business, you can, be that rich person in your family and leave a legacy of wealth to your children and the generations to come. Like this is real. I never forget one of my best, when I started back in 03, in 05, I purchased, I'm a born and raised Jersey girl. 05, I purchased a brand new construction. I remember it was like October of 04. And I went into contract to buy a brand new constructed single family 3-bedroom 2-bath property. I had to put down $1,000. $1,000. That was my down payment. That I had to put down for them to begin to build the property. So I went into contract October 2004. They built the property in 6 months. I purchased the property in April of 2004. 2005. And I closed. I only put down 10%. The house was $100,000. I put down 10%. So at closing, I showed up with my additional $9,000. I rented the house for 1 year. I paid a property management team, company to manage the property. Miss Clara does that too. I paid a property management company to manage the property in Florida because I'm from Jersey. I lived in Jersey. I can't be trying to go see a tenant because the light ain't working. I can't do that. So I had the property managed. A year to the date, when my tenant's lease was up, I sold the property $200,000. I made $100,000 in 1 year, including my rent that I was making money on. House $100,000 mortgage is like 5 cents. Like it's literally a tiny mortgage. It's a small mortgage. So I was bringing like maybe it was like $500 a month from rental income. So aside from making $100,000 in 1 year, I also made $6,000 from that rent that I was collecting, as profit. Every month because the tenant had no problem. I mean, when they left, they did take my ceiling fans. They stole those, but whatever. I say all that to say, where else are you making $100,000 in a year? Ask yourself. So, when I say real estate, and I didn't say it, but I'm gonna say it now. Real estate can change the trajectory of your life. It can completely change the trajectory of your life. So when you're thinking about, do I get into this business? As Miss Clara said to you guys, I jumped in. It's like, I can't even swim, but I'm swimming because I'm going to figure it out. God's going to show me the way. He's going to make sure I'm good. So I'm going to figure it out. And it can change the trajectory of your life. So investing in real estate, can be your key. It can be your way out. It can be your new role. It can be, can take over for that 9 to 5 that you have.
Mhm.
But be a forever learner, be a forever steward of the business.
Mhm.
Jump in. There's no good time but now. You ask me any day, any year, any time. I'm gonna tell you, it's a good time to buy real estate.
Always.
Thank you.
Always, always. I so appreciate you. And I think, for those of you who are watching, Ms. Vonetta is an excellent resource. Definitely, when the class is offered again next year, maybe she'll do another one before next year. Who
Oh,
knows?
I will be doing one on my own. So stay tuned. Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah, you wanna jump in and take her class as well. And I just thank you. I appreciate you. And real estate, I ditto. It's the greatest investment. It's the only thing that appreciates over time. It's, how 15% of people build wealth in this country. So, grandma's house, don't overlook it because it's not the house that you want to live in. But
Exactly.
yeah, hold on to all of the real estate that you can and make it work for you. I really appreciate that. So remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Really appreciate you, Miss Vanetta. Our guests are here as a resource to you. So take advantage of the folks who come on this platform. Uh, oh, thank you, Miss Valerie. She says this is great information. I love your passion about this industry. Thank you.
Yay. It's real. Like this is me all day. This is Miss Clara all day. This is me all day.
Indeed. So if you are like interested in a career in real estate, or if you are looking to invest in real estate, definitely reach out to Miss Vanetta, reach out to me. We can assist you with that process. I want to thank everyone who tuned in today. Financial Fridays is here to provide you with resources, information, and tips to impact your bottom line. And I hope that you receive something of value today. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. We stream live on Fridays at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch the replay on YouTube anytime. And we'll see you again next Friday. Until then, keep living your best life. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Miss Clara.
Thank you.